No, sorry.
No?
It'll pick it up. I should have fine.
It's loud enough? It's strange that Irv, who we've known for so long, used the word, somebody used the word, a trip down memory lane, and that's what I just wrote on a little slip of paper that I...
They would always think they got us out of Melvina.
I know. I'm the older daughter, Barbara. I'm finally giving you credit for being the younger daughter. And I have to tell you that I found these articles. My mom and I actually didn't want my dad to know, so we looked through a lot of his drawers, and he saves everything. So do I. So does my family, my children. I found some articles that were from the 50s and the 60s, and I don't even know the exact dates, but I wanted to share them with you. And I wanted to tell you, on behalf of my sister, her family, and I, and my family, my cousins, Jeff said to please introduce the people that are here. We have 22 family members here today and friends, mostly family members, but Sylvia Levine is one of Lenny Levine's wife, who was a past chancellor, who was my mother and father's dearest friend. My cousin Barry, my cousin Lorraine, my cousin Don, my husband Bernie. Fatima, who's taking care of my dad tonight, because my dad had been ill for a while, but he's all better now. And my mom, and of course Sylvia. Roberta, who is my daughter's mother-in-law, my brother-in-law Jim, my sister Barbara, and my daughter-in-law.
No, you left out Sylvia.
No, I said her before. Yeah, I did. I said her first. My daughter-in-law Narissa, and my son Mark, and Narissa's mom Linda, and my nephew Scott, and my niece Jody, my son-in-law Scott, and my daughter Karen, and my cousin Irene, and did I miss anybody? Some people came from Massachusetts, some came from Connecticut, because Dad is special. He really is. And you've heard from strangers, not strangers, but people that are not in the family, how special he is. And as far as the Knights of Pythias, my sister will talk more about his inspiration to our family, but I want to share with you, on behalf of my sister and I, some little memories that we had. When Dad first was initiated as the Knights, he very quickly became an officer, and he had this little ritual book. It was this little teeny book, and he had to study it before a meeting. And my sister and I would have to take turns sitting with him. Now, mind you, there were certain words he couldn't use. They were blank. He would say, and then you will do blank blank. And I would say, what is the blank for? You can't know. I was 11 years old, and my sister was, I guess, 6 years old. And we practiced with him for every occasion, but never knew the secret passwords. And when I tell you, he was so fastidious about doing each and every one of them, that if he left out a the, he wanted to know, did I leave out a the or an He wanted it perfect. And as you said, he's a perfectionist. We know that. Everyone who loves and knows my dad knows that everything has to be 100% to the dot. Cross your T's and dot your I's. And he would memorize that whole thing, never making a mistake. But he'd say, but are you sure I didn't make, and he'd do it, even though he got it right the first time, he'd do it again and again. And Barbara and I can attest to that. We had fun with him for that. But we never knew what the blankety blanks and the whatever they meant. And he was a good guy, good Pythian. He also, in the early 50s, I don't know if anyone is here tonight, I don't think so. Sid Bogdano, Irwin Kaplan, my dad, and Harvey Rosencrantz are getting, it's so old that the paper is yellow. They were sweeping out Camp Marcella, the children's blind camp. My father did a lot of charitable things, as you all mentioned before. Then, of course, Meet Your Brother. My father actually started that column, and interestingly, when he became Pythian of the Year, his very good friend Bill Levine wrote a whole article, which I'm not going to read to you, but you can share, about my dad. That was in 1962. And then there was a lodge brother who I remember, Frank Schreiber. My cousin Mary, of course, is my uncle Mickey's son, who was a past chancellor as well. We got the family very involved in the Pythians, I guess. Dave, he writes that about Dave's commitment to the Knights of Pythias, but I just wanted, Frank Schreiber, do you remember him? Does anyone remember Frank Schreiber? I know Barry, you do. he wrote a beautiful letter thanking my father for what he did for the lodge, but I just want to read two sentences. As you very well know, we are aware of the thankless jobs that you do. I'm sure it is encouraging. It sure is encouraging, excuse me, it's on a very old paper, to have a capable guy like you to work with. It's something in this day and age to be able to work with someone, this is what really broke me up, who is not interested in promoting his personal glory, but is 100% interested in seeing that the job is done and done well. We could use many more fellows like you in the Knights. Thanks a million. And this letter, this little thing, my mother and father saved it. I couldn't believe it, but it says what my father was all about. He didn't need a pat on the back. He did it because he really, truly cared about Pythianism and all those commitments. I want you to know that we went on many of those weekends. My children and a lot of us here went on those nice Pythias weekends to the Concord, the Granite Hotel, Irv Saltzman and his family, my cousin Barry, the Milsteins, I think you went as well. I mean, I could name lots of people who I remember going on those weekends, and we've all grown up. I'm a big girl now. I was a little girl then. If I missed anybody, I just want you to know that my dad is special, and we thank you for noticing how special he is, because he really deserves it. We're very proud of him.